Okay, I'm going to stumble through one. Don't worry if you get it wrong. Let's just try from the top, okay? Okay.
Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese.
Captain Sully hit some geese.
Marijuana legalized.
Price of copper's on the rise.
Kaepernick takes a knee.
Ozempic cures obesity.
Y2K was overblown. They shut down Guantanamo.
Welcome back to the Night Pod Cometh, where we talk about It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I'm Magnum Mills, and I'm here with the Soupdeucer to discuss the Season 17 premiere. The gang fucks up Abbott Elementary. Soup, when we talked about our episode title discussion, we just had the episode titles. You really like this one, man, and we're doing it first right out of the gate here. How excited are you to get some Sunny, man? It's been almost 2 years since the last new episode.
Yeah, stoked about it, man. It's nice to get back into Philly, dude, for a little bit. Very cool, very cool. I was stoked about the season coming out anyway as it was leading up to it, and yeah, the title alone for the first episode is pretty good. Anytime you can drop fucking a title, you're in for one, and I did not know that this was like a crossover thing, so learning that and then getting into that as a whole was very cool. So yeah, stoked about this one, man.
Yeah, they're definitely at the portion of their career as far as the show they don't have to care anymore. They've already been picked up for 18, so it kind of is what it is. They can do some stuff that not many other shows can get away with this day and age. We love that. We hope that you'll love this episode of the Night Pod Cometh. We're presented by Regular Dudes Watch Stuff. Find our content wherever you get your pods and on YouTube. We're on social media at Dudes Watch Stuff and on the web at dudeswatchstuff.com and nightpodcometh.com. We got it all covered. We try to keep it nice, simple, nice and easy to remember, just like the flaps. FLAPS. Follow, like, and please subscribe. If you had fun, please remember to hit the thumb. And you should know that this will be a full spoiler affair. We will be spoiling all episodes of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia up through the season 17 premiere, and that includes the first part of the crossover that happened over on Abbott Elementary. So don't say that we didn't warn you.
Let's do this thing!
This is The Gang Fucks Up Abbott Elementary, Season 17, Episode 1, the 171st overall episode of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Originally aired July 9th, 2025, directed by one of the show's most prolific directors, Todd Bierman. This is the 17th episode of Sunny that he has directed, and the first since the 4th episode of Season 15. The gang replaces Dee with a monkey. This is the only episode he is directing this season. Written by Charlie Day, Rob Mack, and Keona Taylor. This is the second written by credit for Keona Taylor after the second episode of Season 15. The gang makes Lethal Weapon 7, so promising stuff there all around. And as far as special guest stars, we have the crew from Abbott Elementary, including Quinta Brunson as Janine Teagues, Cheryl Lee Ralph as Barbara Howard, Tyler James Williams as Gregory Eddy, Janelle James as Ava Coleman, Lisa Ann Walter as Melissa Schmente, Chris Perfetti as Jacob Hill, and William Stanford Davis as Mr. Johnson. The short plot synopsis is: months after the gang visited Abbott Elementary, Abbott's principal, Ava, walks viewers through some of the unseen footage of the gang's volunteerism and reveals their true intentions. As we have noted, this episode continues the events of Season 4, Episode 9 of Abbott Elementary, titled Volunteers. Soup, what'd you think about this one, man? Kind of overall thoughts? Sound like you kind of liked it. The crossover aspect of it worked for you, man. What did you think? And did they actually fuck up Abbott Elementary? Did they live up to the title?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, if you jump all the way to the end, and Frank ended up ripping some of the copper out of the walls there. So yeah, they fucked shit up a little bit, man. And there was a lot of other stuff too, man. I mean, it was good. It was very well put together. I think as a whole, both of those episodes are very cool, very well written, and just designed well, and it flows well. It's hard looking back now because I'm kind of trying to differentiate between which episode was the Sunny episode or the Abbott episode, but I don't think it matters. I think that's just kind of like one, so looking at it like that, it was good, man. It was definitely great.
I think that's a positive feature right there. The fact that they feel like two good halves of a whole. I think they did a nice job. So if you only saw one or the other, you were a fan of the show and you didn't know there was another half, like someone who's just binging it for the first time or something, it would be good enough to stand up on its own. But if you watch them both, especially back to back, it sets up some jokes, pays some stuff off, cool stuff where you hear what's going on behind a door in the one episode, and then you see someone's open it in the other episode and that kind of stuff. So great editing here. Shout out to Todd Bierman, who kept up the mockumentary style that we saw in the first part of the crossover on Abbott Elementary. That's not usually how Sonny shoots stuff. I thought it looked really cool. Overall online, it seemed to be a lot of positive response here. I think over on IMDb, the crossover episode is right now the highest rated episode of Abbott, and people seem to like it. Hopefully it brings some new fans to Sonny. I'm going to try to check out the Abbott Elementary at some point. It's on Hulu. Shout out Hulu. They got, they're doing the thing right now. So thought that was very good. Would have loved maybe a little bit more Dennis, and if we got Dee to interact, she was just kind of off on her own plot line, and that seems to happen a little bit. I wonder if it has to do with Caitlin Olsen's schedule. She is pretty busy right now. She's got her own show. She's still on Hacks occasionally. She's got some stuff going on. So thought it was cool. Thought the Abbott characters were cool. They added some stuff. Totally wouldn't mind if one of them randomly showed up at Patty's at some point in the future or something like that. It would be cool, make the universe feel a little bit bigger. Shout out ABC for doing this. Nice to see this. We really don't see crossovers like this anymore, where characters from different shows, networks that aren't, maybe they are the same production company or something. I don't know. But here it seems like crossover strictly because people like them and they both exist in Philadelphia. So I thought that was awesome and very cool to see.
Do you know if this was kind of like a surprise when it came out with the Abbott Elementary show? Like, was this something people knew about, or was it just kind of?
I don't know if it was announced when Abbott, maybe when their episode titles came out. I'm sure at some point it did, but I think that aired in early January. So my guess is, I feel like it probably got a news blurb in, January or in, maybe Thanksgiving, Halloween, somewhere in there, like late October, November. They're probably like, oh, guess what's going to happen? And, there's going to be a crossover with the Sonny characters, but I don't really have like a Google alert set up for that. And I didn't clock it until like around Christmas when cause I think it was the first episode back from the Christmas break or whatever. So at that point I became aware of it, but even then I was like, well, we still don't even have a date for the season. So I was almost trying to hold off on watching it because I was worried it would make me want the new season too bad. And, it doesn't really matter, but I think it definitely adds more to it if you can watch the, both parts simultaneously.
Yeah, for sure. See, I didn't know that they were, I think I might've heard of that show, but I definitely didn't know they were in it until this came out, and you had mentioned
right.
that.
You see the trailer, and right, yeah, this is why they're in an elementary school, raising hell and doing gang stuff. That was cool. Let's start going through the episode. We open up 8 a.m. on a Tuesday in West Philadelphia. The principal of Abbott Elementary catches us up on what happened in the first episode of the crossover, and we get the first opening credit sequence featuring Rob Mack. After the credits, Frank outlines his plan to steal the copper piping from the school, while Dennis is disgusted by the sludge-like coffee served in the teacher's lounge. Soup, this was a big one following online, and I don't know if you know this, but Rob McElhenney legally changed his name to Rob Mack. He is Rob Mack now. He legally changed it, so this season it's still he's still credited as McElhenney in some of the supporting materials because this just happened. But they did change the credits here, so
I noticed that. I thought maybe it was
giving him a little bit of shit for it, I guess, but I don't mind. I thought McElhenney was cool, though it does sound like a hockey player or something, maybe.
Yeah. It's a lot of letters, there's a couple syllables in there. Charlie probably can't read it. Maybe he can now.
Well, it's funny because it sounds like, something that Mac would do to shorten his name, make it more bodyguard-like or something like that.
Yeah.
Now it identifies him even closer to, the character he's played for so long.
Maybe that's why I did it too. It's like getting a tattoo to legally change your name. That's what you got.
He's embracing his brand. Maybe that's trying to he spends so much time with Ryan Reynolds now. It's tough not to get overshown. So maybe he's just trying to make sure he's standing out there.
Yeah, maybe.
Overall, I thought cool job of kind of picking up where it left off. You know what I mean? Dropping us in. They gave you just enough that if you hadn't seen what happened before, you could get an idea, but otherwise you were kind of into the flow. And this is a little bit of a repeat. Not the first time Frank has gone with the copper stealing. They were doing that back in the Gang exploits the mortgage crisis, where he bought that house where the people were still living there, and he had the kids ripping the wires out the walls with their bare hands for the copper.
I had those kids painting their room, and then I told them to go down, rip some copper pipes out. Their little hands got all bloody. Big deal.
And how about the coffee here? This is one that they mentioned in one of the first scenes of the crossover. We had just the Abbott Elementary teachers in the faculty lounge. They were complaining about how bad the coffee is. Dennis calls it sludge. In my experience, unless it's a restaurant somewhere with high turnover, anytime you have one of those pots that just sits there, it's always going to turn into sludge, basically, right?
Right. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, coffee pots are going to get gnarly over over time. It's coffee after all. And the shit stains things, and yeah, I mean sludge, dude. If you have nasty coffee, it's time for a new coffee pot, man.
Right, and you would think as an employer, like at least get your employees good coffee, like make them a little happy. Like it's something that wouldn't
Especially in a
cost you much.
school
It
where
would,
everybody drinks
definitely pay
coffee.
dividends.
Yeah.
It's a nice, kind of setup for the end too, where Frank gives them the espresso machine.
Yeah.
So it's kind of nice. Everything is kind of well written here. I like kind of how that, kind of goes all the way through like that. They do a nice job of kind of, carrying things over and, kind of crossing them through. Even the idea here when Frank's like, oh, I'm going to rip the pipes out, but they're going to have to replace these anyway. Like, you know what I mean? I'll save them, a couple $1,000. And then at the end, that's what Ava says too. Like, oh yeah, it turns out like we're going to have to demo this anyway. So he did save us a little bit of money.
I like how she's a little bit of a schemer, man.
Yeah, she sets up here too that she's got a little money on her in case she needs to get the camera guys to erase something. And you see her at the end, she pulls it out of her bra to give the like. That was just. I thought they used the Abbott characters very well like that. Like almost every time they were on, they were fun. You know what I mean? And like they held their own on screen with these crazy people, and that's kind of wild. Like we've seen kind of guest stars come in and get blown a little bit away on Sunny before because it's like wow, like we're in the middle of it now. You know what I mean? It's like someone's first service or something.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, this ain't no brunch, dude. This ain't no brunch.
Fuck brunch.
And we get it's a mockumentary style, so we get the kind of the talking heads, and we get one with Janine and Gregory, where Janine discusses her thoughts on Dee and Dee being attracted to Gregory, her boyfriend, and let's just say she is not exactly a fan of Dee.
I need to say a bad word.
It's okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I'm going to say it's real bad.
We talked about this.
How much of a total fucking cunt she was.
I thought you was going to call her a bitch.
No, I didn't feel that was strong enough.
Okay.
After we see the other side of their little classroom banter. We saw a little bit of it in the premiere episode in the first part of the crossover, but here we get to see the other side. And then Dee goes out and she's talking to the cameramen and she's telling them like, hey, why don't you make the show about me? Because she pops and she thinks that Janine is a dud. Online, this was I think a lot of the Abbott Elementary fans, obviously that show's on ABC. There is, they maybe drop a little shit ski once in a while or something, but there is probably, no one is dropping the full-on C-bomb there. And here she just goes off. And I love Gregory's reaction. Like, I thought you were just going to call her a bitch. Like, it's like, no. She's worse than, like, that could be a good dog. Shout out to her there for defending dogs. I do like that.
That too, and yeah, I bet you they love that, man. It's like, you mean I can?
They get to cut loose for once. Yeah, that's very. You could just tell. Like I haven't seen other episodes of Abbott. I'm just assuming that's the way it is because it's on ABC. But based on the online reaction, that was one of the parts everybody loved. Is like you said, getting to see a little bit maybe of another side of these characters.
Yeah.
Obviously the gang. That's who the gang is, right? Their darkness and they just suck everyone into their darkness. That's who they are. That's what they've always done. And so it's a good time. I mean, we've kind of seen Dee do this before. That's the one downside here, but it doesn't really matter. It's just, Caitlin Olsen is so good at this kind of deranged. And, now they've kind of leaned into the idea that her and Dennis are similar like that. So it's just kind of, her version of it and Howerton's version of it. And it's really intense, but, it certainly it gets some good, in the moment comedy factor, even if on rewatch it isn't quite as impactful, but still, Caitlin Olsen is kind of like a force of nature when she wants to be.
Yeah, definitely, man. Dennis too,
Oh yeah, he's a golden god. He will not be bound. So we'll see how he pays off his coffee scheme. I mean, because it's not just the copper scheme. You got the coffee thing. You got Mac and Charlie trying to recruit athletes for their old high school.
Shout out, sickest fucking coffee maker ever, though, dude. Have you ever put the beakers and the bubblers and all that shit together to make coffee like he did in the science lab? That was sick, dude.
Minor spoilers, like he calls himself in this scene, he calls himself a Walter White, which means that sometime since the last season they watched Breaking Bad because they didn't know that Aaron Paul and Bryan Cranston, they thought it was Malcolm in the Middle. They didn't know about Breaking Bad. He calls himself Walter White here on that show. Minor spoilers, but another chemist actually does do this. Like he uses a whole crazy like a rig set up for making meth to make like the super awesome best coffee ever.
Oh, okay, right on. Well, I
have seen it before. I'm pretty sure that's the call out they're doing there, a little callback of the reference to it, and it's a good time. It's again, I've seen similar community did something like this with chicken fingers. Like this is how look at how much control he gains over the staff compared to what the faculty, the administration could have done if they just gave him better coffee. Yeah. Like Dennis is just gaining favors left and right, and that's another thing we saw in the Abbott episode, the coffee. like everyone had the coffee, but we didn't know the origin of it here, and everyone was like excited to get it. Like, oh, and here, like, oh yeah, so again, cool stuff how they kind of pay it off. And then of course the coffee goes right through Frank, so he just pisses in a locker. Reminds me of him pissing on the fire hydrant last year. Like, maybe it's just going to be a thing. It's just, I mean,
why not?
The
Definitely a Frank thing, for sure. Definitely some fucked up Frank shit, dude. But hey, man, if you got to piss, you got to piss. But you find an interesting place, like, somebody's locker.
Yeah, and the funny part is, I mean, it's
the
almost
locker was empty though, man. I think the locker was empty. I remember.
Yeah, there's no lock on it. Usually, it's an empty one, right?
It'd be better if there was like some gym clothes and a pair of shoes or something in there, But hey, you got to go when you got to go, dude.
Yeah, in that too, Frank talks about the raccoon. That means in the first episode when the dude was complaining about the raccoon, like Frank created the whole situation by releasing the raccoon in the first place. So, again, a nice little touch there.
Right. Yeah.
Dude, if Dennis had to come up with a name for his coffee company, what would it be? I'm going with 5-star blend because he's a 5-star man.
You know what, man? I feel like it should just be straight up called the Dennis system.
That's all right. I mean, I would, obviously I would drink it, so I don't think that would take a lot of convincing to me. And they also have again this little plot line here where they're going to recruit a kid, and of course they go about it in the worst possible way by trying to point at kids and then following them into the bathrooms, and then a teacher kind of catches them in the bathroom with the kid, and that leads to a kind of a weird situation. Luckily for the gang, Dennis is scoring some points with all the rest of the faculty by giving them the coffee, and so the gang hits the cafeteria for lunch. And then during lunch, the gang kind of goes down a conspiracy rabbit hole after Charlie mentions that none of the kids seem to remember 9/11. And then it just goes on and on as they sit there as everyone finishes lunch. People clean up. Night appears to fall. I don't know if they slept there, but they were there for a long time. Supa, did you like the payoff to them following the kid into the bathroom? Obviously, that could have been, not done in the best taste. But again, the cutaway to Ava, to the principal, talking about she kind of gives him shit for it. You're like, yeah, but don't think we already didn't try that. Like, he's legally blind in one eye and he can't shoot for shit.
Right.
That cracked me up. I thought that was a nice kind of payoff to the gang. And just the teacher being horrible. And then when he finally realizes they were trying to recruit him for basketball, like just the relief, like, oh, thank God that you weren't, taking
well, obviously, because the dialogue there that you just hear from, it's definitely, you would suspect something else probably,
Right. You should be calling 911 or something probably.
Yeah, creepy, dude. But yeah, that's not the case. It's just, them being fucking them. And
right, this is not something every show could do and kind of get away with this, and I think they just skirt the line perfectly.
But it wouldn't have been funny had they not. I mean, it would.
Right. That's what comedy is. It's usually like how close to the line can you get without falling over, kind of. That's the with falling over, just to like kind of being crude or whatever, just still being clever. And I think they execute it well here. Dude, what about the cafeteria food? It was also funny that Dee just cuts these little elementary school kids in line, and then the rest of the gang just cuts them. Were those sloppy joes, man? They were a little.
It looked like sloppy joe, yeah.
Oh, cafeteria sloppy joes and warm milk, and were those fries? I couldn't even tell if they were actually fries or like pear slices. I couldn't even tell what the hell it
could have been either, man. I don't know. I'm gonna have to get it. I wish I had a picture to look at right now.
Yeah, it was not trust me, like it reminded me of like why I brought a lunch to school generally.
Brown bagging it, dude, is the way to go, man.
Unless it was taco day. Taco day. Pasta day wasn't terrible either. The garlic bread was decent.
Pizza day is solid. Yeah.
Well, you could always, but then the problem is that they'd always have pizza, and then it was way poorer quality because it would just sit there the whole time.
There's no Ellie's Deli, man. They had that damn cafeteria, school cafeteria pizza, man.
And the sweet sauce, dude. They love the sweet sauce up there. So that was all funny, and obviously the conspiracy stuff is what it is. I just love that it's classic the gang. They're just sitting there talking over each other, and they just keep driving each other further and further into the rabbit hole. Obviously, it sets up the gag with the flamethrower later about the melting steel and everything like that. But, I mean, kind of funny. It's just who these people are. I guess just the context that they're doing it in the middle of an elementary school cafeteria is pretty hysterical in and of itself. Like everyone just cleaning up around them.
The only thing that kind of surprises me is that they were all just chowing down on that shit school cafeteria lunch. Not one of them busted out a beer, man.
It is a good point. There was no secret drinking. There was no wine in the can.
You would think there would have to be.
Spicing up the coffee. Yeah, that is I wonder if That almost makes me think, as a part of their deal that they're doing this for, or whatever. Maybe they had the bracelets are doing the testing or something like that. I don't know. That's not enough schemes for them. They want to get a boy band together. This is pretty fun. Definitely weird. So Gregory Audi complains to the principal. Janine complains. Ava doesn't care because Mac is doing great things for her. And this is an excellent cutaway where you see that Mac apparently she has her whole wardrobe at school and Mac's just steaming her clothes.
Yeah.
Which tracks with the stuff from the Abbott part when he's detailing her car and doing all that stuff. But even that ties into them trying to recruit the kid for basketball. Mac was borrowing her car so they could let the kids joyride the Lexus as part of the recruiting pitch. I really love the way they fit some of these guys together if you're kind of paying attention.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And it's what I like about it is that it's kind of a lot to take in. It's kind of complex for not that Sunny episodes aren't complex, but some of them are. Not all of them are like this. Might be the most complex ever, dude. Having this crossover type episode with the two combined. The thing as a whole. I like it, man. I'm definitely now more and more thinking about it because I'm fresh off it. Just watched it. It just came out. But yeah, man, it's growing on me. As it's like marinate. Well, I don't know. I already digested it. So as I'm digesting it, I'm liking it more and more. There we go.
True gastronomical experience there. Another great gag. We've seen this one before, usually with walkie-talkies when they're doing the announcements, and Mac can never grasp the concept of when to push the button or not and when to hold it down. So they just leave it on the whole time. This is just kind of the gang's thing. Like they just do not really pay much attention. And they're having the kid there sing Boys to Men. We've seen them do that multiple times, most notably in the Gang Gets Quarantined when they want to enter the contest to be the opener for Boys to Men, who is from Philly. And when they're doing that, it's kind of like American Idol, right? When they're sitting there and judging a little bit. They did that back in the Gang Solves the North Korea situation where they were doing a very, very obvious American Idol thing where D was drunk like Paula Abdul and Frank was Randy Jackson. If you haven't seen that one in a minute, that's a fun one. I like that they want the detention list so they can find their bad boy because the bad boy is the key to the band. He's the most important one because the bad boy makes the sexual component less weird.
Yeah.
Great reaction shots to that one. Again, a lot of great shout out to Abbott Elementary for their kind of like side eye and eyebrow game, like just reacting to some of the stuff the gang does.
Facial expressions are huge. They're all good at it too, man. I definitely noticed that. And shout out Janitor for a couple of good ones too, man. As far as like just that look, he just has that look.
Come on, definitely. Just very well done overall. You think they nailed the boy band setup there? You got the bad boy, he's most important, the boy next door, the nerd, and the ugly one.
It's pretty much, yeah, kind of. I guess that's the components. We're not talking Village People here. You're talking a more '90s-ish kind of boy band. So yeah.
Right. I was trying to put the South Park boys into it just because there are four of them. But I will say one of them needs to be able to sing. You do need your.
I think Butters needs to come in and just play the bad boy.
Oh yeah, dude. Yes. If any more Butters, please and thank you. That generally is always a good one. And Ava thought all right, we'll keep these guys around. Like Mac's doing great work, and she obviously quickly comes to regret that. D picks a fight with Janine and loses. So then D screams at and assaults a camera operator because she could totally beat her up. She's tiny. D is huge. She's gone out of her way to prove that many times. And then they show the footage to Janine, who maintains while she is small, she is mighty, and she could kick D's ass. This is just kind of a little bit here, but it ends with one of my more favorite moments of the episode where Janine's trying to play it like really cool and nice, and then she just punches that locker.
I am totally over that woman because I am a happy person. So I'm so sorry I saw a mosquito.
And then every time you see her for the rest of the episode, she's got ice on it. Like, I love little touches like that. She did that locker pretty good, too. So, I'd give her a good chance against D, although D has the giant feet. That is a big advantage.
If you can use your feet, man, kickboxer over here.
Yeah, so again, nice use of kind of the talking head moments. We don't really get those on Sunny typically, and they're deployed very well here. And the gang isn't done yet because there's another scheme. Dennis and Charlie recruit Janine, Jacob, and Barbara to record a take on Billy Joel's We Didn't Start the Fire. It appears to be going quite well until they discover that Fall Out Boy had already done an update of the song, and let's just say that the gang did not take the news well there.
Every goddamn time we try a single thing, this goddamn Fallout Boy! Goddamn always a motherfuckers! Oh, I mean the Ed Hardy jeans, the spiked hair!
Plus the eyeliner, that was my look.
It was your look, man! You like your look!
Supa, I think we talked about this off cam. We were both aware of Fall Out Boy, but had no idea that they had done this remake, right?
No, I've heard the name Fall Out Boy. I don't know any of their material, and I don't know if it's good or bad. I'm gonna have to check them out now and see what they're all about. I guess if they're good, great. Always looking for new shit to listen to, man. If they suck, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, never really did I guess the emo band thing. I don't really know other than the dudes wear guy liner or whatever.
I don't even know what genre they might be. I guess that sounds.
I guess whatever emo rock is. I guess so, some sort of rock. I guess
emo or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, I'm sure. I guess it's I don't know. Maybe it's more sad or something like that. And how about Billy Joel, dude? On the subject of Billy Joel, with a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being I can't stand his music, to 10, I think he's the single greatest musician in the history of sound. Where would you place the man?
Billy Joel, man, I'd probably give him he's a legend. I don't know if he's not in if he's not in the Hall of Fame, he should be. I mean, it is Billy Joel. I give him like an 7.5.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's better than a 5, but he's not. Yeah, probably like a 7. I definitely you can't I don't know if I could listen to his entire discography back to back, but you can throw on especially some like 70s era Billy Joel, throw on a disc, and they ride pretty well. So fairly high on that one. And for the record, in their version, they had Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, Captain Sully, Hit Some Geese, Marijuana Legalized, Price of Copper's on the Rise, Kaepernick Takes a Knee, Ozempic Cures Obesity, Y2K was overblown, They Shut Down Guantanamo. That's solid. I don't know if Captain Sully hitting a geese needed to be in there, but okay. I mean, that was a thing. It happened.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was pretty cool, man. And I think they had fun with it. Especially the ones performing, or the ones singing. Charlie was just banging away on the keys. Which shout out Charlie for playing the keys a little bit, dude.
He's done it before. We have seen it before. He's sang a couple of songs before there. A little bit of the Nightman here. Not quite calling out to it, but has definitely done. He tried to make the best bar song back in the gang. Desperately tries to win an award. As an Eagles fan, obviously I appreciate all the Go Birds that we get there. I like the way they depicted the song, both when they try to do their own little video of it. Shout out Dennis, being like he's in a 1980s Dare video when he is smoking that joint, and then the cut to them with the flamethrower when Ava's like, "Oh yeah, they actually did start a fire." We saw that in the trailer, and I thought that was just a beautiful cut right there.
Yeah, they actually
laugh my ass off at that one.
And at that point, I didn't know what the fire. So I'm like, man, maybe they burned the fucking school down. I don't even know. So,
you wouldn't put it past the gang. They burned down literally the people's apartments before when they were doing the home makeover thing. They burned down their the row house there. So you can't put it past them. I loved the bit when they find out about the Fall Out Boy because they didn't know. And then they're like, give us a minute. And then the chick's like, to go listen to the song. And then obviously they do go listen to the song. And they just start screaming about all the things that they were going to do, but Fall Out Boy stole from them, including Ed Hardy jeans, spiked hair, and eyeliner, which was Max Luck. Which again, probably a call back to Nightman there when Mac was wearing but he might have actually just been wearing it kind of, whatever on a regular basis. We got that shot of Frank in the cage. And I think we saw that in the other part of the first part of the crossover, but that's probably a callback to Charlie McDennis when he gets put in the cage like the dog.
Right, but another thing is being that I watched him backwards, I didn't watch the Abbott Elementary first. I watched it after the Sunny episode. I probably should have, looking back, I probably should have done it the other way around. Maybe I'll do it.
I think they can almost work both ways, though, and I think that's what's so well done.
It can. It definitely can. That's cool. But so you don't know why Charlie's in the cage, though. He's just in okay, well, you don't even think twice about it. It's like, Charlie's in the cage, but you don't know why until you watch the other one. Then you know why.
Right, because Frank was out there because he was trying to, because they seasoned the dirt with chili pepper or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's hysterical. Because what do? You just made the dirt delicious because he's trying to, they're trying to drive away the raccoons. And you do not, people here to refer to dirt often as delicious,
Only if you put the garlic powder and cayenne pepper on it.
I have to say, I've never tried.
Not me either, man. I might have
never been that hungry. Never been that
there would be a fucking challenge. Let me bring that to the specials.
Yeah, to the Iron Chef, right? flavored dirt.
Well, Cutthroat Kitchen.
They
man.
probably have enough stuff. It just would depend on how much dirt you have to actually put in it. If it's like a teaspoon, you could probably put it in almost anything.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But if you have to make it the star of the dish,
Yeah. That'll be a tough one.
Now
dude.
we're
You might need to hope that it's got some worms in it, dude, just to bail you out there. And then we kind of wrap things up. The gang invites their new friends from Abbott Elementary to Patty's for a drink. Frank isn't there, but he did spring for the new espresso machine for the teacher's lounge as a gift. It seems like a nice gesture until Ava reveals that Frank used the opportunity to steal the copper pipes from the school, but the state was going to make him move out some old pipes anyway, so Frank actually saved them some money on the demolition cost, but she doesn't want anyone to see that, so she slips the camera a little bit of a little fiver or something there to make it go away.
Burn the tapes. Damn it.
Solid ending. Dude, talk about the worst free drinks ever. No spirits, no wine that's not already open, no imported beer, no ice, and no water. And
We're pretty much off the water
anymore, dude. Like, I want to hear, I hope that actually comes up throughout the season. Like, we're not going to spoil 2. We've seen 2, but I'm hoping somehow during the season we find out why they're not on water right now.
Yeah,
like, did they just water just get cut off? Are they just not drinking water for some reason? I'm kind of perplexed by this. I'm at least intrigued.
I do know that they have to have water to be open.
Right, you would think, yes, that's a requirement.
But either way, hey man, unless the health inspector comes in, they can be like, "Fuck you! I don't got no water." We got tequila. Oh wait, no spirits. Maybe they're just trying to do the one beer. What's the beer they always drink? That's it.
Well, it was Coors Light for a while, but now they've switched and they have something. It's those brown labels. I forget. It's kind of like their own kind of, they picked kind of like a show brand finally because no one's paid.
I'm surprised they haven't made their own yet. That's what they should do, is have their own beer like they did in Beer Fest with the Shins and Giggles or whatever, man. Greatest beer in all the world, and then you serve it at your bar.
Yeah, well, I mean, they were going to try last season with the Nickel Slogger.
Yeah.
Well, the Nickel Slogger was more of a
That's right. Hey, yeah.
It's still a fun one there. Just the nice tag on it. Dennis does a call back to the whole blindside thing with the you blindsided us there. Just again, I think just a well written crossover overall. Really flowed in and out with each other very well. Both episodes stood up on their own, but again, watching them together, especially in the correct order back to back, I think you do pick up on a couple of extra gags, and they really fit well together. So I think just a very good accomplishment overall. Very, very well done. Yeah,
I enjoyed it, man. It was a great way to start out the season, dude. So.
And this is a tricky question for you because I know you loved this episode title. We like having fun sometimes trying to come up with alternate episode titles. So I don't know if we're actually going to beat The Gang Fucks Up Abbott Elementary, but took a couple of shots at it just based on what we got in the episode. Soup, I'm going to give you a couple options. Just pick your favorite here. First up, we have The Gang Never Forgets. Kind of a shout out to the 9/11 thing there. Then you have The Gang Didn't Start the Fire. Although we know that's a lie. They didn't actually start the fire. And then just the actual truth, Frank robs a school. Definitely happened. Frank robbed a school. And then if you want to play off the Abbott Elementary title, The Gang Volunteers. Any favorites between those 4? The Gang Never Forgets, The Gang Didn't Start the Fire, Frank robs a school, The Gang Volunteers.
I like Frank robs a school because it grabs you, kind of like, oh, I got to see what's going on here. But and then a runner-up on that, I kind of like, again, as a whole with the 2 episodes, I kind of like Charlie Learns to Read.
Or does he?
Or does he?
It should be like one of those things, Charlie Learns to Read, but it's spelled like horribly wrong.
Yeah.
It's spelled phonetically like you would spell it in Idiocracy or something like that.
Exactly.
Like
R-E-D-D or something.
Yeah. Like when he does for the mayor, and he spells mayor like M-A-R-E, when he's trying to send the letter to the mayor, and the bums making a mess all over Philadelphia when they're Dennis and Frank are pretending to be crooked cops and everything. That's again another very, very classic one there. And Soup, I don't know if there's an absolute classic here, but we do want to hand out some awards here on the award tour. We're going to start with our favorite quote, man. I think there's an obvious one here. You're going to go with it. What's your kind of favorite quote here from the season 17 premiere?
Dude, I've got to give it to Janine for calling D a fucking cunt.
I need to say a bad word.
It's okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I'm going to say it's real bad.
We talked about this.
How much of a total fucking cunt she was.
I thought you was going to call her a bitch.
No, I didn't feel that was strong enough.
Okay.
Like, he thought he'd pre-cleared bitch.
Right.
And I love her just
Yeah.
defense of that. Like, no,
Well,
that's too
that's where
good
you
for her.
think
That's
she's
too
gonna
good for
go,
her.
but no, man, good for her, man.
Yeah, she goes right for the throat there. So shout out to Janine. That would have been my favorite, but in the interest of not doubling up, I have a fun one here from Ava. I mentioned it before, and it's when she's talking about the basketball player that they were trying to recruit.
Maybe it was Jacob interrupting them, or maybe it was when they found out that Rodney is legally blind in one eye and can't shoot for shit. Don't think we didn't try. He's trash.
It's just fun to hear, like, I wouldn't want a real like educator to talk about their kids like that, but we know, like, little league drafts and stuff like this, like, people get real competitive when it comes to children's athletics. So this is kind of funny to hear, like, the
It is what it
unvarnished truth.
is, man. Yeah, I mean, whatever. If you're gonna, yeah, you don't want to talk about, but still, it's like, okay, well, the sky's blue, man. You call it like it is. I mean, if you're gonna be pissed about that, what do you want me to do?
It's just funny because everyone assumes, like, it's one of those things. I know you're tall, you're going to be good at basketball. And it doesn't always work that way. So, and shout out to dude. Being legally blind in one eye sucks at any age, especially for that age. So I wouldn't expect you to be able to shoot. Depth perception, kind of huge with the whole shooting thing. Definitely helps. Next up here on the award tour, very similar. It's our favorite scene or moment from the episode, the season 17 premiere. I thought about going with the bit where Janine punches the locker and then she's got the ice on it after, but I'm gonna go with Jacob, the teacher, there when he eavesdrops on the guys screaming about all the Fall Out Boy stuff. That is just hysterical in its own right, but then trying to picture it as this dude who's just listening to these random guys just scream about Fall Out Boy like this. I mean, I don't know, man. Just conceptually and in practice, it was just absolutely hysterical for me. So I'm going to go with that one. Soup, how about yourself, man? What was your kind of favorite scene moment from this one?
Yeah, it's hard to pick a favorite scene moment. I like the cafeteria scene, but I think I'm just gonna go a little bit smaller. And see, I really enjoyed the whole Dennis making the coffee scene. And I know he tried to stay out of this episode for the most part or whatever, but that was cool. And maybe that's why I liked it. But that was like his contribution was doing the coffee, man. But just that setup and shit, it kind of brought me back to the science lab, where you get to play with the Bunsen burners and shit, and I thought that was fun, so.
It fits with the idea of him too being kind of like this crazy sociopath who can like do all this kind of like weird stuff or whatever. He has these odd skill sets, and it's kind of his way to get control, right? Because he likes to kind of manipulate people. And he does it with coffee here. Basically, he becomes their drug provider. No one's drinking in this episode. The best they get, they can't have spirits. Dennis's coffee is probably better than anything they're going to get served at Patty's.
Yeah, well,
maybe they'll start serving it at Patty's, dude. We will see. We will see. And in honor of Dennis, we determine our MVPs via a process we call our 5-star man or woman. We're going to go ahead and use the process here for the Gang Fucks Up Abbott Elementary. More or less, we rank our favorite characters in the episode from 1 to 5 stars, with 5 being the best, of course, because Dennis is a 5-star man. I will go first here from a bottom to top. Going to work a couple of the guest stars in, but at number 1, I got to give it up for Dee. She was kind of off on her own island here, but she is, like I said, kind of a force of nature. Got some laughs, and she's just crazy intense, and you can just see how hard Caitlin Olsen goes for it. So I give her a lot of credit for kind of, basically being able to stand up on her own. Everyone else is kind of getting to interact with a lot of people. Dee kind of has to do it by her lonesome. At 2, I'm going to go with Charlie. Him and Mac have a little bit of overlap here. Frank and Charlie are both kind of trading back and forth across the various plot lines. Charlie just got a couple more laughs here. I might also be incorporating the idea he had the runner from the first part of the crossover where they were trying to teach him how to read, and the idea that he knows they're trying to teach him how to read and he can't read, but he's like playing it off. I find absolutely hysterical here. He gets involved on both the the recruiting the athletes and the boy band stuff. So I'm going to go with Charlie at 2, and then I mentioned they were kind of interchangeable, so I'm going to go with Frank at 3, mostly because he gets kind of the final word where he actually steals the copper pipes, but it works out just like he said. They're going to save some money anyway, so it's one of those, like, it's a crime where no one got hurt, whatever, a victimless crime, so to speak, or what have you. And then huge surprise here, my top 2 are both going to be Abbott Elementary characters. My 4-star person is going to be Ava, the principal. Dude, at least 4 or 5 just laugh out loud lines. They kept cutting back to her like she was the main character, and she killed the joke basically every time. I thought she was just absolutely impressive. She opened the episode, she closed the episode. Maybe would have been my 5-star person, but I'm going to go with Janine because she had two of my favorite moments. Obviously, her calling Dee a cunt, and then the bit where she punched the locker, and just that kind of like passive aggressive, nervous, like short person energy. Like she's confident, but she's just a little on edge, and the gang's just starting to get to her. Kind of, they're infecting her environment. I thought it was extremely well done. So there are my 5-star people. From the bottom to the top, D at 1, Charlie 2, Frank 3, Ava 4, and Janine is my 5-star person. How about yourself, Soup? Who are your 5-star people?
Dude, good call on that, man. Nice lineup. I like that, man. I like that. All right, dude, I'm gonna throw Gregory in there, man, at the 1-star, man. I liked him. He had a good vibe in the show. He's funny without delivering a great without the huge delivery. He's got it in his face, and he's funny.
Reaction shots were great with him.
I mean, he did good. Like his
he's kind of no nonsense too. He's like, these people are pissing me off. I report him to the principal. Like he's like a very no nonsense character that would never appear on Sunny generally because, they destroy people like that.
Yeah, he did a good job. He was definitely whatever. He's got the fucking 1-star, dude. And then up to 2. I'm putting Ava there, man. I thought she was great. She was kind of like the puppet master the whole time anyway, and again, everything you said right with your rankings as well kind of ties into the reason I'm putting her there also. So now number 3, still sticking with the Abbott crew and putting Janine right there at number 3, man. Basically for all the reasons you said and just for being awesome, And then 4, we're going ahead and putting Frank at number 4, man, because again, it's Frank, and he slept in a cage, or he was eating piss soaked whatever the fuck in a cage, like.
Well, the dirt. I think he was eating the dirt. I don't know if he was eating the piss soaked pelts.
Garlic powder in the cayenne
pepper. Yeah.
So yeah, it makes it delicious, I guess. So anyway, that was pretty good. That was classic Frank Reynolds right there, man. And 5 stars, I'm giving to Charlie because he almost is on his way to learning how to read, man. And I thought he got humbled a little bit in this episode, but he played it well. He didn't freak out. He went with it, and it was cool.
I'm trying to think he could go to the was it like the Tropic Thunder reference, a Simple Jack, or it was Zoolander, the other Stiller, like the school for kids who can't read good or whatever. Like maybe that's where Charlie needs to go.
And I barely remember Zoolander, but yeah,
it's better. Like I said, I thought I went with Simple Jack. I knew it was Stiller, but no, it's definitely Zoolander. It was one of the he always wanted to build that or whatever because he couldn't read or something like that. I forget the punchline.
Would they have hooked on phonics or some shit or something like that back in the day? I don't know. Do they still have that?
I don't know. It's probably been bought up by Hooked on Chronic at this point. So
yeah. Well, hey man, you got the cell phone. Just type in, teach me how to read. I'm sure you can figure it out. If you can type that in, you're halfway there.
Yeah, let's get the AI to do something useful at least, right? At least teach the kids how to read. Like that would at least do one thing for us. That would be pretty cool. And the final stop on the award tour is our episode grades for the season 17 premiere. We grade each episode of Sunny on a scale of 0 to 100 patties bucks. Soup, send us on our way here, man. 0 to 100 patties bucks. How many handing to you call it the crossover in total here?
93 patties bucks.
Soup goes 93.
I'm going 93. I think this is a good. I like this. This is a good. This is one I'll go back and watch later. Years from now or whatever. I'm like, oh, that one. And you have 2 pieces to it. Which makes it even cooler. So.
Oh, I'm right there with you. I just try to almost grade like Patties is on a curve because I would say, compared to like other stuff, almost every episode of Patties would be like a 90 or whatever. So I try to like place them within context of each other. But I think it's better than like an 85, I think, but I don't know if it's quite a 90 for me. So I'll go 88, dude. It's a Back to the Future a little bit. It feels like a little bit of throwback. We spend most of the time in a school. I know it's not high school. There's no fish under the sea dance or whatever, but enchantment under the sea dance. I know that was actually part of the joke, but yeah, really enjoyed this one. Maybe even a little bit more than I thought I was going to, considering I didn't really have any knowledge of Abbott Elementary other than people liked it and it was set in Philadelphia. So very cool. No complaints overall. Sounds like Soup is right there with me. We will find out what Jamie G thinks when we get him back for episode 3. And next up, we have Frank is in a coma. The short plot synopsis is the 5 stages of grief set in for D as Frank lies on his deathbed. Meanwhile, the guys plot their new path forward by pitching their business ventures to Philadelphia's elite. We have already seen this one. Both episodes dropped on the same night, so check out our next episode where we are talking about that. It'll be right up next in your feed. If you are doing the binge thing or whatever, you haven't checked it out yet, do so. Come back and check us out. Thanks for checking out this episode of the Night Pod Cometh, presented by Regular Dudes Watch Stuff. Find our content wherever you get your pods and on YouTube. Find us on social media at Dudes Watch Stuff and on the web at dudeswatchstuff.com and nightpodcometh.com. We try to give you options while keeping it nice and simple and easy to remember, just like the flaps, FLAPS. Follow, like, and please subscribe. If you had fun, please hit the thumb. This has been the Night Pod Cometh. I'm Magnum Mills. He's a Soupdeucer. Jamie G is out there somewhere in the ether, on the ether, not sure. Might have something to do with the fish show. We will find out when he returns. He is supposed to be back next week. Thanks again for checking out the show and being a fighter for the Night Pod Cometh. Whoa!
Wow, guys, that was amazing.
Yeah.